So welcome back to the show. Glad to have you on board. Clint at WMRN.com is my email address. And we're pleased to welcome in studio right now some guests that I've been really excited about having in because we're going to be talking about something that has really taken off. And I did not realize just how brand new this really is. I thought it was a little bit older, but Marion's Lost Promise, a Facebook page that's only been around for since February, actually. And we've got a couple of folks from Marion's Lost Promise in with us. Angie Hoffman, first off. Angie, welcome in.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for making some time. We appreciate it. And Kathy Brake as well. Kathy, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
And thank you guys very much for making the trip. I know this is something that obviously you've put a lot into. You've put a lot of heart into it, into this site. And I just kind of wanted to ask you right out of the gate, for anybody that doesn't know Marion's Lost Promise, they're kind of in the minority because you've got almost 3,000 Facebook likes already, which I just have to mention. WMRN, we've been around since 1940. We've only got like less than 2,000 Facebook likes. So, I mean, you guys are kicking our butts, and you've only been here since February. So people have obviously, they've really gotten into your message and what you're talking about. So can you tell us a little bit about Marion's Lost Promise and why you wanted to start it, Angie?
Well, I started Marion's Lost Promise after I was talking with a friend of mine on Facebook through messaging, and she was telling me about her addictions. And it seemed to me that she just really wanted somebody to listen to her and not judge her, just to sit back and listen. And that's where it all began.
So it was that simple.
It was that simple. And I was sitting there one night and I asked my daughter, I said, how do I make a page? Because I had no clue. But I asked my daughter, how do I start a group? And she scooted me off the chair and she made it for me, and it just took off.
That's great, and that was going to be my question. Are you technically savvy? Are you technologically savvy? I didn't know if maybe you had computer experience setting up sites and things like that.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, I would say now.
My children have, so they helped me out with that.
So that was a big help. That's great. And Facebook, it is great for those kind of things. I mean, when you want to get something out there quickly, it's a great avenue for it. But also, if you have a message, and you know what you want to say. I mean, anybody can set one up. It doesn't cost anything. So it's a great platform for something like Marion's Lost Promise that obviously a lot of people have really gotten involved with. Now, when you started it, what was your idea? What did you want it to be?
Well, when I started it, I was leaning more towards the people who were affected by the drug addict, the family, the friends, the coworkers. That's how I intended it to be. But it kind of has just taken its own way, and it's just a little bit of everything. We have addicts on there telling their stories, their testimonies. We have people supporting them. We have the kids who write into us, who mom's an addict, just wanting to reach out and some support. It's just a little bit of everything.
And people want to tell those stories, but they really didn't have a natural kind of place to go to, I mean, there really wasn't just a place that was designated for that. And on Facebook, it's so easy because anybody can get on and read those. And from getting on to Marion's Lost Promise, I liked it a couple months ago and have been reading the stories ever since. And I mean, they're amazing stories, and they're heartbreaking stories, but they're ones that really need to be told. There just was no avenue for it. So I think it was a brilliant idea, really.
There's a lot of people who want to get it off their chest. They want to be able to tell the story, but they're not quite ready to put their face with their story. They still want to remain anonymous, but it's helping them just to be able to get it off their chest and say, I have this problem.
So they're writing them to you, and then you post the stories.
Correct.
Okay. So
I'm the only one who can
okay.
See the name. I keep it confidential. I don't share information with anybody in the group.
They put a lot of trust into you then, Angie.
They have.
So, I mean, people telling you these very personal stories, I mean, obviously you could burn them if you wanted to, but that's great that people are putting that kind of trust into you and that you're doing this. So, again, Marion's Lost Promise, it's very easy to find. Go on Facebook and like it. You've probably already got a few friends that do like it already if you get on there. Kathy, what's your involvement with Marion's Lost Promise?
Well, I just happened to come across the website one day. It was in probably about the beginning of March. And I had read a testimony that someone had written in, and it just really touched me, this testimony. This person said that it was the first they had really been able to ever open up and share. And I responded to them, and I just told them about how proud I was of them that they had taken this step in their life, to make such a a big change in their life. And then I put on there, and I told them if they needed anything or a ride to rehab or anything, that we would be more than happy to take them. So they actually emailed me after that, and I read more stories, and I had started sending a few emails, and then people would email me back to where it now turns into like I have been talking to some of the same people for a couple of months and just encouraging them on a daily basis. So it's been really good.
That's fantastic. And you said that actually after we get off the air, you're going to be actually meeting with somebody who is going through as a recovering addict, and you're going to be helping them out.
We're taking them to lunch.
Yes, we are.
And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it sounds like now the site has really taken on its own kind of like physical presence as well, because you could exist, only on the internet, and you're doing a lot of work there, obviously, telling those stories. But I saw you out. I think the first event I saw you guys out at was Pinwheel Play Day. I saw you out there, and I saw some people with Marion's Lost Promise gear on when I was there. But it sounds like you've been kind of trying to get involved in some more events, and in the summer, obviously, it's going to be a perfect time for you to do that.
Yes, we just hosted a free lunch at GFS. No donations or anything. We just wanted people to come, meet us, pick up some literature. We had some literature on the different types of drugs and what to look for in your kids. And it was a great event.
Now, what was your reaction to, did you go to the opiate town hall? Were you guys there?
I was not.
I was there.
You did get to make it out there?
Yes, uh-huh.
And that was, the kind of event it seems like would have been right in your guys' wheelhouse, obviously, right, for Marion's Lost Promise. What was your reaction to the stories being told on stage, especially from the woman who is a mother of an addict, and also to the recovering addict himself from Delaware County?
It was very touching and very informative. I thought that it was well put together. It really opened my eyes to a lot of things, at how serious things really are, and about how the drugs, they just don't discriminate at all. It's everyone. I've met so many people, and almost everyone that I've met knows someone that has either been affected by drugs, by a close family member or friend, or just someone. Everyone is affected by it.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point there. And Angie, you've been the one reading all these stories, and you get these. About how many of these stories do you get, would you say, per week, maybe even per day?
Oh, I would say probably close to 20 a week.
Really, about 20 of them a week. So, and again, these very personal stories coming from people. Have they all been people from Marion? Have some of them been from?
No, and there's 20 a week. That doesn't mean that all 20 get published on our page. Some people just want to talk to somebody and they don't want it published. We have people from Delaware, Morrow, Columbus that have wrote into us.
That's great. So a lot of other people are embracing it, obviously, with as many people have already gotten on board. And you said that you started it in February, correct?
Correct. February the 5th.
February the 5th. Yeah. I mean, it is unbelievable how recent that is. I mean, you're talking about 3 months ago. I mean, it's not this isn't years in the making or anything. I mean, this is just like it caught fire. How do you know how quickly you hit like 1,000 Facebook likes and you had that many people getting into it?
I know in a week's time we had 1,000 members.
Man, that's pretty serious.
And
how did the word get spread so quickly? Do you know?
Well, we posted the picture. The mother sent a picture in of her 15-year-old who was lost to heroin last year. And I think that just went viral on Facebook. And that caused a lot of concern and
that touched a lot of people.
Yeah, people looking at our page after that picture had went out.
Well, it's good that something so sad, obviously, could go on to maybe inspire some other people or make them think about this and see this issue. Because I mean, as you mentioned, Kathy, it is something that it doesn't discriminate, and I'm sure that you guys have seen that every day and looking at these posts. Angie, are there any posts that particularly so far have really stuck out? I mean, obviously they're all unique in their own way, but some that maybe you got that really just really you couldn't believe. I mean, ones that just kind of broke your heart.
Oh, there's several that have broke my heart. I'm a softie when it comes to things like this, and I'll sit there and I'll be at my computer and I'll just cry. Right now we're talking with a 16-year-old girl whose mother is an addict. She just had a child herself, dropped out of school, And so we're just trying to reach out to her also. She was using, but when she found out she was pregnant, she stopped. And so we're just trying to be there for her, trying to encourage her not to continue. And we're still trying to meet up with her because we got a couple little gifts for her and her baby. I just want her to know that we do care for her, and we really would like to see her go back to school.
Very nice. Well, and it sounds like the whole idea of it obviously is to get the word out, about this problem and also to share some of these stories. But it seems like from first reading it, and you said when you first started it, you wanted it to be for the families of people who've been affected by this. And that was kind of what I thought as well. I thought it was like a support group for people that, hey, my son was an addict and I lost him, or maybe he's a recovering addict and, nobody can trust him anymore. And we just want to know how you get through this. But now it sounds like even, you guys are working with people who are recovering addicts. So really the idea of the whole thing has kind of evolved, hasn't it?
Yeah, just kind of taking its own path, and we just kind of go where we're led.
That's great. Now, we talked about, how you started the group and everything. I wondered about the title, though, Marion's Lost Promise. How did you come up with that? It's an interesting title.
Well, I just think that there's so many people in Marion who are lost right now because of these drugs, and they hold a lot of promise. So that's how I kind of came up with Lost Promise, because they're just lost, but they have so much promise to offer Marion or wherever they're from. I
like it. I mean, it's a good title because it doesn't really say everything, right? And you have to kind of dive a little bit deeper to understand, and think about it a little bit more. But it says enough, and it says enough to where obviously a lot of people have really responded to this, and whether it be those stories, a lot of people they're sharing them with some of their friends and trying to get the word out there. I've had on Morning Magazine, we talk with the mayor all the time. We talk with police all the time. We talk with experts on counseling and things like that all the time. And everybody has a different take on the drug problem in town. I just wondered, from you personally, why was it something that you wanted to get involved with? Did it affect your own family personally?
No, to tell you the truth, I didn't realize it was as bad as it was. I kind of keep to myself. I have 4 children, 3 adult children, and I have a 9-year-old. And I just thought I want to do everything in my power to make sure that my 9-year-old doesn't fall victim to addiction.
Yeah.
And has the same opportunities that my 3 older children have.
Well, that's good then. It's good that you don't have that story yourself, but you're somebody who's acted as kind of an advocate for the folks that do out there. What about you, Kathy? Is it something that personally you've seen in your own family or anything like that?
I do have several family members that are actually recovering addicts right now. And I guess I didn't realize how serious that it really was as far as overcoming the addiction, especially from heroin. I just kind of thought it was something that you like AA and different things you go to rehab for. But after really becoming knowledgeable about you have to be in rehab sometimes for a year. And it just really, it was incredible to know all these things.
Yeah, there's no patch, I mean, you're not, it's not that easy. And I think that is something you always hear people say as well. People who've never been addicts, they just say, well, just stop. I mean, obviously, just quit. It's easy. Just have some control. But, I mean, if it were that easy, then there would be no such thing as drug problems, and nobody would have them because nobody wants one. So that's, one thing that obviously people have to understand, I think, right from the base. And a lot more information is being spread now through sites like Marion's Lost Promise, and also now just through like the town hall meeting and the task force and all that kind of stuff. So a lot more people are kind of finding out about this. Now, Angie, how did you kind of you said that it was something that you didn't realize was such a big problem. When did it kind of come to your attention that this was a big problem that needed to be addressed in Marion?
It was probably after the signs went up, and I hated the signs. I just thought it made our town look horrible.
Yeah.
But I do think that it has opened up a lot of conversation and dialogue, and that's when I really started taking notice.
I don't think you're alone in that, and I think a lot of people, it was the same thing. It was kind of a tipping point as far as spreading the information. But as far as actually hearing some of those stories, and maybe were you involved with some of your friends or something like that maybe had stories of their own to share, or how did you come across some of these stories?
None of my friends shared any stories. Well, just the one friend who we started talking after the signs went up. She started telling me about her addictions and that she was overcoming 3 different addictions herself. And that was the only friend who.
So I mean,
shared.
I think it's really interesting, Angie, because obviously you're somebody who you're a total outsider to this. But it sparked your interest enough to where you wanted to create this Facebook page and you want to manage it, and it takes time to do those kind of things. And you're helping people get informed about this. So it's really interesting to hear the background on that. It was something I was really wondering about. If you're wondering what we're talking about Marion's Lost Promise, which you can go on Facebook and like right now. Is there a separate website for Marion's Lost Promise?
There is.
As well?
lostpromise.org.
That's right, lostpromise.org. And yeah, I remember checking that out as well. So you can go on the website, and if you have a story or something like that you want to share maybe with the folks that get on the website and read, how can people get those to you, Angie?
They can email them to lostpromise@ymail.com, or they can private message me through Facebook.
All right, very nice. So some very easy ways that they can get their stories out there. Have you guys had any plans on maybe expanding this to be something where you would have like monthly support group meetings or anything that would be maybe put on by you guys? Because it seems like obviously you've got a good network where you could get the word out, and it seems like people would probably show up.
We've talked about several different ideas and opportunities. Right now, we just kind of advertise for other support groups, like Meet at the Mall and stuff. They'll put it on our website or on our Facebook page, and we will make sure everybody sees it.
Okay.
But we've talked about holding different meetings and.
Yeah, it seems like it would be a natural avenue for what the site is all about, for people to tell stories, because I will never forget going to that city council meeting that where some folks were in there, and they had different they had pictures of children that they had lost or siblings they had lost or anything, and they were telling stories. And I mean, this thing, they tried to, wrap it up pretty quickly so that everybody didn't. But we could have stayed all night. I mean, with people telling stories. I mean, this was just a few people. This was like 50 people that you could fit inside of a small room. So I can only imagine if you got together and said every month we're gonna, you can come and tell your story, and we're gonna talk about things together.
We talked about doing maybe even a lunch, because we thought maybe at first it would be maybe only a few people wanted to come. So we thought, well, we could just go to lunch, and we could just kind of casual while we're eating lunch talk about their stories and stuff.
And you realized probably that there would be nothing small about this if you put it out there. I mean, people really, it's something people want to talk about now, and I think they've known that it's been going on. A lot of people have known it's been going on. They've been affected by it, and now it's great that they do have avenues like this. And I think really, you mentioned the signs, and there have been some people out there who've really been very aggressive with the way that they talk about it, and it's made people not want to talk about it as much. But a site like Marion's Lost Promise I really like, because it isn't aggressive. It's just about, here are the stories, and we're not attacking anybody and saying, well, this is your fault and you need to this is what you do need to this is how you fix this. It's an easy solution. It's just really for people to share those stories from their own lives.
We are very non-judgmental, and we do not allow any negativity. If there is a negative comment on there, we do remove it, because we think that's the last thing that a drug addict needs to see, is being put down.
Yeah.
And
so many people want to do that. I mean, on the internet especially, it's such an easy way to anonymously just pick people off and shoot them down and everything. But I really did notice that on your site. I mean, there aren't all those negative comments from everybody that you usually see on these kind of sites.
And it is not allowed.
And they won't be on there. All right, that's fantastic. So again, the Facebook page alone getting close to 3,000. Hopefully you'll jump over that mark and continue to climb from there. I can only imagine after only 3 months of being up there and having the website running, it's got to be going well. Do you take donations and things like that, or is this just a total, it just operates online? And
well, right now we are looking into becoming a nonprofit organization, and I understand that takes a while. We are applying for a federal tax ID number so we can have a checking account. The donations that we've been getting, it's like for Children's Play Day, we asked for donations for prizes. People donated.
Yeah.
What other donations have we? food donations.
Well, I know you had your T-shirts and things like that, so I didn't know if those were maybe you paid for them yourself
We
or if
paid
those
for
were
those,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. So
But we did have a business donate some money, Mike Graham Insurance, to get the wristbands, the bracelets made, and those are in the making right now, and hopefully
Right.
we'll have those for our next event.
They're going to say Marion's Lost Promise on them?
Yes, and we
I
had a
imagine.
contest, and the winners, her winning, what was it, Restoring Hope?
Restoring Hope. yes.
Restoring Hope, Marion's Lost Promise, Restoring Hope.
So you were looking for kind of a tagline there for the
Right.
website.
And we asked all of our viewers, and she won. So
Very nice. Well, guys, it's something that's really positive. I think out of something really negative, I mean, this is really a negative problem. This is something that a lot of people, it's taboo still. They don't want to talk about it because it maybe has affected their family, and it's embarrassing, and people don't want their name to be attached to it. But it's great that there is a judgment-free way for people to get their stories out there, and it really sounds like the group Marion's Lost Promise is kind of is going to be on the rise here in Marion, and something that you'll be seeing maybe at some different events that you go out to. I don't know if you guys plan on maybe being at the fair or the popcorn festival or anything like that, but obviously
we've discussed those. Our most recent ones are going to be the poker run. We will be at the Brandy Winfield poker run set up, Kim's Walk. And we've had schools contact us asking us for information that they can pass out to their students.
Wow.
So we've been doing that.
Has it, when you mentioned, something like that you've had people obviously consulting you, and you're somebody that, would you consider yourself an expert on this? I mean, would you say I'm an expert now on?
Not at all.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, because you're somebody, you didn't have experience with it.
Nope. I have a disclaimer on the site saying I hold no certifications. I'm just a mom.
Yeah, and I think that's something really refreshing to people, that you're not somebody who you have all these certifications and degrees, and you're not going to talk down to them. I mean, you're somebody who comes from the same background as they do, and you just want to help people tell their story. So I think that's what is really interesting to people and what they've really responded to. So, but is it pressure? I mean, do you feel like now there's some pressure because of so many people have gotten into it, and now maybe people are going to be looking to you guys for information?
No, not at all. We have a great team.
No, it's very laid back, and people. Some addicts will come on and read other stories, and they have even emailed me, and I've taken them to church with me, and we've taken food to them. So it's all very, very laid back.
Very nice.
We sent cards to people in prison. We sent cards to people in rehab treatment facilities.
And that obviously that goes into it as well, ties into it as well, and the prison population. All right, well, Marion's Lost Promise, again, check it out online, and check them out on Facebook as well as at their website, and you can contact Angie and send your stories. And again, she says they're confidential. Your name won't be out there. If you have a story you want to tell, it may be posted on the website, but again, people won't know where it came from. So. That's great. All right. Well, Angie and Kathy, great meeting you guys. Is there anything else you wanted to mention before you got out today?
I just was going to say a vision that we would like to do is help these people get their GEDs and find more jobs for felons, and maybe get them an outfit where they can go to a job interview, feel good about themselves. Marion needs to have more places for felons to work.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to make that one of on our list to do.
So even expanding some more there to becoming advocates for former prisoners and things like that. All right. Well, sounds like you guys are just kind of you're trying to help everybody. Don't spread yourselves too thin now.
We're all over the place.
we just want everyone to feel accepted and loved, and just know that there are people that care about them. And we have really discovered myself that Marion has a wonderful community of very caring people.
Yeah, I've only been here just longer than your website has been on, but I have seen the same thing. I've definitely seen a lot of great people helping their brothers out. So great to see it. Angie and Kathy, thank you guys so much for coming in. Check out Marion's Lost Promise, and I appreciate you telling your story today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
All right, we'll be back after this on WMRN.